Emily DeSimone, and I am your host. Thank you so much for joining us for the 24th Annual Garden State Film Festival. This year, we have over 200 films and film-centered events from various countries, all happening across 9 venues from March 26th to the 29th this year. Today, I am here with director-writer Jake Cadeau of the homegrown short, The Hot Box. Jake, thank you so much for joining me today, and congratulations on The Hot Box being accepted into the Garden State Film Festival.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So if you want to get us rolling by telling our audience, what inspired the writing for The Hot Box?
Yeah, so The Hot Box is a traumatic comedy about two brothers who rehash an incident from their childhood in a sauna. And kind of what originally inspired it, I wanted to write something that was like pretty stripped down, pretty contained in terms of like production elements. So I was trying to figure out what's a story that I can write with basically 2 characters, 1 location. This is like my first film that I've made. I've written scripts before, but this is the first thing I actually took through production. And so that was like a big thing, was like writing the story in a way that I could like feasibly actually, finance it, produce it, make it myself. And I had just been talking to a friend, and he told me this story about a situation where when he was younger, his older brother hotboxed the family car with him inside. And then he was like 12 years old. And then many years later, they were both home during COVID, and they were like playing a board game. And the topic of trauma came up. And somebody there was basically, the younger brother was like, yeah, I have trauma, like when you hotbox the car with me in it. And they got into this big disagreement about like, what is the nature of trauma? And the older brother was kind of like, that's not traumatic. Like, I know people who have actually been through things. It's messed up. The younger brother was like, no, like this was a impactful experience. And so I thought that was just like such a funny interaction, and provided sort of like a good sort of like central tension for a short film. And also then I came up with the sauna setting as a place for this argument to unfold.
Well, congratulations on your first produced work, making it into the Garden State Film Festival. That's fantastic. You must be so proud.
Very excited. Yeah, excited to be doing it in New Jersey. We shot it in New Jersey as well. And so this is very excited to screen there.
Yeah. So what was this process like for you producing? Like run me through, how you found your, setting and the actor that acted in it and whatnot.
So yeah, I'd written the script, and then I connected initially. The other thing, so Daniel Chelmer, who's actually also from New Jersey, he is a producer on the project. I had connected with Reggie Chelsom, who is the executive producer, because at first I was looking at him as a DP. Turned out that he wasn't available, and so we pivoted, but he introduced me to Daniel. And so I kind of had a bunch of the other elements, like the script, the actors, all these things locked before getting the location.
Okay.
And at first I was reaching out to sort of like corporate gyms, trying to find somebody who would rent me a sauna. And everybody sort of had like a legal issue with it. There was just, liability issues on their part. So I was like, oh boy, like, I don't know how we're going to do this. And then I very randomly connected with a family friend. His name is George Akers, who lives in Princeton, New Jersey. He has a company called Material Design Build. And he has built on his property this beautiful sauna. It's like totally wood sauna, constructed himself. And it's just like a beautiful location. And I took Reggie out to scout this location, and he was like, yeah, this is like a cheat code. Like, this is such a beautiful space. And George like very generously let us use it for free. So that was like a huge part of making this a possibility. So thank you, George.
No, that's awesome. And how is it that you said that you had like everybody together prior and that you have written before. I would love to know a little bit about how you came to get together the crew that you had for this project.
Yeah. So, well, first in terms of actors, Isaiah, who plays the younger brother, is like a long-time friend of mine. He's actually sort of my writing partner too. He didn't write on this project, but we're working on some other stuff together.
Nice.
And he yeah, it was kind of like, because we've been friends for a while, I had this project and I ran it by him. He was excited about the role. And then Christopher, who it plays the older brother, he was basically, my girlfriend has a friend who's an actress, and I was
Mhm.
trying to find somebody to cast for that role. Was having a lot of trouble with it, and we asked her because she's sort of very connected with the actor scene in New York, and she recommended Christopher, and he was kind of perfect for it. So, in terms of bringing the crew together, the first one was Reggie, like I said. He was actually yeah, so my girlfriend was moving out of her old apartment, and she had, this was like early stages of, I knew I wanted to film something, but hadn't really, the idea hadn't come together yet. And she was moving out of her old apartment because we were going to move in together. And she's very good with sort of interior design. And before she moved out of this place, she wanted to get photos of it as like just to have to, remember this place, and also kind of as like a portfolio to piece of her interior design. So she had a TaskRabbit come and take photos. And the TaskRabbit was this really cool guy. His name is Reggie. And I was just looking up, I was sort of like, oh, what's this guy's deal? And I looked up his website, and I saw that he was like a DP was his main thing. Um, and he'd worked on some like really cool projects. He was a DP on a Duplass Brothers documentary. And so then I just reached out to him after the fact and said, hey, like, really liked meeting you. I have this project I might want to shoot. And then he and I sort of connected through that. We scouted the location. He didn't end up being able to shoot the project. Just timing wise, it didn't work out, but he's an executive producer. And he introduced me to Daniel, who's the producer, and kind of the rest of the crew. They'd worked together on stuff previously. So, yeah.
No, that's awesome. And I mean, clearly you guys all worked very well together because, I mean, here you are, you've made like this very successful like short film. And what is, do you have any future plans for this short?
I think not many future plans for this short specifically. I feel like the big thing for me is like on this first one, I'm very proud of how it turned out, in terms of like very stripped down, minimal production elements, two characters, one room. It's like a pretty contained story. And I feel like on my next short film, I want to take a much bigger swing and kind of like have a more expansive story, more locations, more camera movement. Just
Yeah.
kind of like expand the world out of this one room. I think it was really helpful for me on my first thing to keep us in this one space because it kept things manageable. And I learned a lot from that, and I'm excited to, get out of the hot box now. So,
Well, to touch on, that you learned a lot from it, what would you say was your favorite part of this project? And alternately, what was maybe the most challenging part of this project for you?
I would say that favorite part was just meeting the whole crew and figuring out how to work with them. So I'm like, um, yeah, I've have more of a background as a screenwriter. Have written a lot of scripts. I actually last year I had the runner-up script in the Garden State Film Festival feature screenplay competition.
That's
So I've
awesome.
been like writing scripts for a long time before I
Mhm.
actually produce something of my own. And so like this whole process of actually like first of all, it was a great team. It was like a very small crew, and I feel like everybody on the set just crushed it. Everybody was very invested with the project. Really kind people who all did a great job. And also for me, just like learning about that, it's very different from being alone in my room writing a screenplay to being on a set working with people, and everybody brings their own ideas, and sort of like, you have the story that you've written in a script, and then you come to set and the actors, bring their own interpretation of the character, their own life to it. And that was like very exciting for me to see that play out. So I think like that was kind of like my favorite part was working with others rather than just working solo on a script. And what was most challenging? I think just like learning about all of the aspects of the process, like even on post. Like I'd written scripts before, but I knew nothing about how a movie actually gets made. And so like learning, what does it actually mean to like color something, or like, what is the order of operations in terms of like sound and editing and putting all this stuff together. And yeah, it was a great experience, learned a lot, and feel very grateful to have worked with such a great team, like at every aspect, at every stage of the process. So
No, I mean, that's Awesome. I feel like so kind of like excited because I do a lot of these interviews, but getting to talk to someone that has put on like a new hat for the first time and it gets accepted into the festival, I love to, like pick apart a little bit because like that's fun for me and for all of our viewers too. I obviously as well for you. So, you've been screenwriting for some time and now you've, produced and worn more hats and gotten this into the festival. What is something that you would like to share? Because I interview a lot of like students, a lot of like high schoolers and some college students that are kind of brand new in, maybe script writing and producing. So maybe what's some advice you can share for them? Because I know we have tons of viewers watching that are also in the festival as well as are going to be there connecting as well.
I mean, I think for me, like something that was really, really, it was kind of a breakthrough for me about this was the past scripts that I've written. I've written sort of like these expansive period pieces with, 30 locations and would require costumes and shooting scenes in mines and shooting scenes in like a mansion that the Rockefellers owned in the early 1900s. And I had it in my head that like a producer was going to fall out of the sky and like finance and make this. And I knew nothing about how the industry actually works, how a movie gets made, how it gets financed. Like, how do I go from I have a script and I have an idea that I'm passionate about and excited about to like the camera is speeding and we're about to shoot the thing. And I think like something that was very helpful for me on this was I kind of went the polar opposite where I was like, what is the most contained thing, the most pragmatic thing that I can write with the fewest production elements? And how do I like pull together different ingredients, different resources that I have in my life that I can use pretty easily
Yeah.
to tell a cool story within that? I don't know. It kind of reminds me of uh, in like I learned that in the movie Anora, I guess one of the first things that they found
Yeah.
was that house in South Brooklyn where they
Mhm.
filmed, and they figured out they had this location, and then they
Mhm.
wrote a cool story around that location. And I feel like there are certain things which are it's hard for you to uh, acquire or change them in terms of production
Yeah.
elements, like a crazy location or a certain number of actors or like
Mhm.
costumes are really expensive if you want to do like a period piece or something. And those are things where you should think about like, what is it easy or pragmatic for me to get a hold of and get access to? And the thing that you can be creative with that you can change that's at your disposal is like, how do I tell a good story with those ingredients? So I feel like for me, like changing my mindset from let me write the craziest story I can imagine and then try to get it made to what are the resources or ingredients I have at my disposal and
Mhm.
what's this puzzle that I'm going to give to myself of like how do I tell a really engaging story with those resources was really helpful to me.
Well, Jake, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure talking with you. Will I be meeting you in person at the festival?
Yeah, I'm very excited to be there. So
Awesome.
it was great
Well,
talking to you and very excited.
yeah, everyone, the Hot Box will be screening at the Crystal Ballroom in the Berkeley Hotel on Saturday, March 28th from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. We hope to see you at the Garden State Film Festival this year with over 200 films screening across 9 venues, including hosting parties, panels, events, and more. Get your tickets at gsff.org/tickets. Again, thank you so much, Jake, for joining me today. And I'm really excited for the Hot Box to screen and for everyone to get to see it.
Thank you.
Bye.